Hello, everyone. Welcome to our ultimate guide
Hey.
to mastering YouTube for the carnivore community. So I'm Kerry from Homestead How, and I've been looking forward to doing a video like this for a while now. I'm really passionate about YouTube. Been doing it for almost 8 years now, maybe a little over 8 years. Today was my 673rd video that I've done. I was actually going to show you guys my first one because it's kind of funny. But I'm a huge advocate for people starting their own YouTube channel, especially if you want to talk about carnivore and you're passionate about it and you want to get the word out, because I think it's going to help a lot of people. Everyone has sort of their own unique story. So I guess the other thing I was going to say was we're going to try to get into YouTube today and share those things with you. But we're not going to get into every little finite detail because that could take days and days. We're going to give you the high level, and if you have questions, please leave them in the side with a big Q. And yeah, so that's me, Kerry. Adam, you want to introduce yourself, Carnivore Today?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Adam. I have a YouTube channel called Carnivore Today. A little bit of my background, just so everybody knows, the reason why I'm here, it's not because I'm helping Kerry or I'm friends with Kerry or anything like that. I'm actually a professional photographer full time, and back in my photojournalism career, I've done a lot of things. I've photographed presidents, a lot of famous people. I've had my works published globally. I've had published works in National Geographic, magazine covers, ESPN magazines, Sports Illustrated, many sports cards companies like Topps and Panini and Don Russ and things like that. So I'm not saying that to boast or anything like that. I'm just saying that to let you know that you're in good hands when it comes to the subjects that I'm talking about tonight, which is lighting and composition.
Yeah, and just to add to that quick, to give Adam some more credit, Adam recently started his YouTube channel, and you are literally doing everything perfectly. I'm going to show an example of how not to do that. Let me just, before we introduce Rod real quick, let me just show this real quick.
Go for it.
Give you guys a little chuckle. This was my first YouTube video. Those were my Amish days. So that was 672 videos ago, building a chicken coop. If you look at Adam's channel as a good example, or Rod's channel, look at theirs instead of mine for a good example. But it's really cool because, Adam, you recently started your videos, your interviews, your thumbnails, like all of the things you want to do on YouTube that we're going to talk about today. You're killing it. You're killing it already, and you just started. So it's kind of cool because you recently started, and everyone on here is either recently started or thinking about starting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping into that. Adam always makes me jealous with the background. I got to get the studio to set up the lights.
It's very pretty, isn't it? Yeah.
Rod, you too. You got it going too, Rod. Would you mind introducing yourself a little bit?
Okay, so hey, I'm Rod. I'm from Sydney in Australia, down under. It's actually 9 a.m. on Wednesday at the moment in your future, for most of you, I think. I'm also a dad of 4 children, and there's 3, 5, 13, and 15. And so professionally, my background is I actually ran my own e-commerce business for about 17 years, and I sold that to my competitor a couple of years ago. I moved into doing digital marketing, email and Facebook ads and that sort of thing. But my real passion, as I discovered, was with YouTube. So when I first started my agency, I started my YouTube channel. So that was about 3 years ago. I've probably published about 100 videos there. Not very consistent though, because it's really an area that's not particularly my passion, as I've discovered. And my passion is more with health and fitness and exercise. So that's another one of my passions. It's been since I was a teenager. And so I have 2 YouTube channels. So I've started Stay Strong, Live Long at the beginning, so about the 10th of August, I think. I did get Carry-fied, so that certainly helped. But then also my experience over the last 3 years with my other channel made a big difference too. And then I have another channel called Untethered Consciousness, which is really a spiritual aspect of things. And I've had a similar thing happen there, where just because of that previous experience, I was able to get launched, and I think it got monetized in about 10 days. So, not everybody can do that, but once, like Adam was saying, it's not my first rodeo, and I've made a lot of screw ups in the time. And now I help people, You know, some people I help on a pro bono basis to get their channel set up, and others I help. You know, that's an aspect of my own work and business that I'm developing as well. That, you know, I help people get their channels up and running. And for a lot of people that have got a lot of content, sometimes they're just really badly organized, and I help them with that as well. So that's me.
Wonderful. And I got a shout out to Rod too, because he generously volunteered his time to help Bill get set up with his channel. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with Bill, but I helped Bill a little bit, get some videos loaded and things like that, but he was getting stuck on some things, and Rod came to the rescue for sure. And then he helped with Shane and Amy. So just a really good guy, and definitely knows what he's doing. And the more carnivores I meet, it's just like I become best friends with all of them. They're all so cool, so smart, so nice. So thank you, Rod. Thank you, Adam. I'm looking forward to jumping into this. I'm going to start off just with sort of the basics, and then Rod's going to jump into some thumbnails and shorts and things like that. But if you guys have any questions, please post them in the side. Put the big word question. That'll really help us out. And like I said, we're not going to get into every finite detail, but we're going to open it for questions at the end. And if we get a lot of comments and interest and people want more, we can always do another one of these in the future, maybe get into something a little bit more detail. So one of the first things I was going to tell people was, before becoming a creator on YouTube, my best advice, and I said this kind of all around for everything, is you got to become a user on YouTube. You have to use it all the time. I get questions all the time, whether homestead or carnivore, how do I do this or how do I do that? I actually got in trouble a while ago because my mother-in-law asked me that question, and I was like, do you want me to just drive to Milwaukee and I can Google it for you? Because it's right there, or it's on YouTube. I was a little bit of a jerk with that, but literally any question you have is on YouTube. So we're not going to just end this and say, go watch YouTube for all of this. But if you get stuck on something that we didn't cover clearly, like maybe how do I upload a custom thumbnail, or what do I got to do to get monetized? There's amazing videos on YouTube. I always preach that to my girls too. It's like when I was younger, we didn't have these resources at our fingertips. It's really quite amazing, the information we have, not just for YouTube either, whether you're talking about carnivore diet do's and don'ts, or you're trying to fix your car or change your oil or something. So literally a video on YouTube for anything. It's kind of one of the reasons I love YouTube so much. So that's one of my biggest pieces of advice, is use it heavily. If you get stuck, don't just throw your hands up in there and be like, oh, I can't do YouTube now because I couldn't figure out how to do X. Get on there and search it out. The thing with that too is, once you start doing that more and more, you're going to see some videos and some creators, and you're going to say, hey, I really like what that guy's doing over there. Or you're going to notice, like, for example, Dr. Barry. Dr. Barry is obviously a great YouTuber. He's really good with his thumbnails. You look at it, you know, a Dr. Barry thumbnail. He's great at branding. It's a simple thing that, frankly, I've screwed up quite a bit. Adam and Rod are doing a great job at that too. But once you start using YouTube more and more, you'll start to see these things, and you'll see other creators, and you'll start subscribing, and then you become a part of the community, and it's great. So that's one of my biggest pieces of advice if you're starting out a channel. Use YouTube a lot and try to figure out things through there. Otherwise, just getting started on YouTube, I had a couple of bullet points I was going to cover. The first thing is, obviously, you're going to need to create an account on YouTube. That should be pretty straightforward. The second big question I hear all the time from people, I've talked to a lot of people about starting carnivore YouTube channels, and I'm always happy to help promote those. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't start because I don't have one of these yet. They're so expensive. I always tell people, do you have one of these? Because most people do. And if your barrier to entry on starting a YouTube channel is the equipment, just use one of these. This is a great way to get started. And frankly, some of these cameras are better than what you can get in something like these. Adam's probably going to start shaking his head pretty soon. But if you're starting out,
I agree.
Right? If you're starting out,
mine's just an iPhone 10. That's it.
Yeah. And one example for that point is, we mentioned him earlier, but my good friend Bill Knott. Bill, I think he's using his phone and his iPad, and he doesn't have a regular camera yet. And he's killing it on YouTube. And now people might be like, well, that's because you gave him a little jump start, a little kickstart. That helped his first video for sure. He's been killing it ever since then. I'm just standing back. I'm not even helping him. And he's doing it all with one of these or an iPad. He doesn't have a fancy camera. He doesn't have any editing software. He films on his phone or his iPad. does minimal editing, publishes it right on the iPad, right to YouTube, and he goes with it. So some of it, depends on what the focus of your channel is going to be. We're kind of talking a little bit about carnivore style content on here. And everything I know about that and what I've seen is most people that are seeking carnivore content, they want to hear stories from people. They want to hear your passion. They want to hear what's unique to you. Like Shane and Amy are blind carnivores, for example. They want to hear that unique, interesting story. The reason Bill is so successful has nothing to do with his equipment. It's nothing to do with the fact that I gave him a little kickstart, because he's been sustaining it ever since then. He's a very good storyteller, and he keeps people engaged. And I guess if you take nothing else away from me, that's one of the biggest things on YouTube. That's YouTube's most important metric, is engagement. They want people to stick on YouTube for hours and hours and hours, and they don't want them to drop off. And I've seen Bill's engagement metrics, for example. People stick through that man's videos all the way to the end. He doesn't have any lulls or boring parts. So when you're starting out, if you're just going to do carnivore content, one of these and yourself with a passionate story, something that you're really into, really passionate about sharing, that is a great way to get started on YouTube. The thing with Bill that's so crazy too is 4 weeks ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, he never did a YouTube video. He never even had a camera, picked up a phone. So he's just killing it with a phone and a story and his carnivore journey. So that's one of the things I wanted to say. And with the phone or the iPad, you can actually do a lot with these. I actually prefer with some of the tools out there. I know Rod and Adam and I are going to talk about some of these, like Canva is one of them for creating thumbnails. You can even edit videos on Canva. And I don't know about you, Adam and Rod, but I've been using Canva more and more on my phone. And it's pretty remarkable that I'm able to create a whole thumbnail pinching and moving around on my phone. And I can almost do it more efficiently than I can on my computer. So there's a lot. My point is, I guess there's a lot you can do with just a phone or an iPad. And then you don't have to invest a ton of money. You don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a camera. You ease your way in. You start doing some videos. You see if you like it. You see if it's working out for you, and then you can always upgrade a camera later. So that's what Bill's doing: iPad, phone, and then he just loads it directly from the phone to the YouTube app. Doesn't have to have any other software. If you have a camera like this, you're going to film it. You're going to use a memory card. You're going to use a cord. You're going to put it on your computer. The other question I get from a lot of people is, how do I edit? What do I do to edit it? Well, again, I would start out focusing more on the story and not worrying so much about editing. You want to learn how to do that, of course. One of the best ways is YouTube. And I'm not just saying that to try to hand that off to someone else to do, but it really depends on you and what experience you have. I edited my first probably 600 videos on YouTube using the free software on a Mac called iMovie. I've since upgraded to Final Cut Pro, but PCs have free software that come with them as well. If you don't want to use that free software, there's one called DaVinci Resolve. It's a third-party editing software. It's completely free, and it's one of the highest reviewed software. It's great software. I've played around with it, but I'm used to using what I use. So DaVinci Resolve is something to check out for editing. But if you end up getting a camera, you're going to need a cord or a memory card, and you're going to have to load it to your computer. You're going to have to load it into the editing software and edit it. And again, I would just take baby steps. Start out simple. Don't try to overcomplicate it, and leverage YouTube. If you're using like this is a Sony A6300, I would YouTube Sony A6300. What's the best way to load the footage up? Editing on an iMovie. If you get stuck on something, you can Google all that. So. After that, thumbnails and titles important. So Rod's going to cover a little bit more on the how-to, but I just wanted to touch on this really quickly. This is something I've learned on YouTube over the years. Other than that first video I showed you from 7 years ago doing the chicken coop, a lot of my videos I've spent a ton of time on. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes weeks, editing, filming more. Let's film another day. We would do big projects here on the homestead, like building our greenhouse. That was... we did that for a couple of weeks, and I got drone shots and filmed and edited. And then I would edit forever, and then I would nitpick and I would edit. And long story short, I could spend 100 hours working on the video. And my biggest mistake that I would do after that is I would then spend about 10 minutes working on the thumbnail. You should do the opposite. If you look at some of the best YouTubers out there, Mr. Beast has given this advice. Even look at Dr. Barry's thumbnails are great. But Mr. Beast has talked about this a lot, and he's like one of the best YouTuber out there, right? So the thumbnail is so important. You could make literally an Oscar-worthy YouTube video. You could have Steven Spielberg put it together for you, put it on your YouTube channel. It's not going to matter if nobody sees it, and nobody's going to look at it if they don't click on it. And they're not going to click on it if you don't have a compelling thumbnail and title. It's so important. So there's a couple tools for that. I think, Rod, we're going to talk about that a little bit more with you a little bit later, so I won't go into the tools, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I mentioned engagement. So your storytelling, you want to keep people sticking on that video the whole time. If you have any lulls, you watch the video. A lot of my videos I'll have the girls watch. I'll put it up on the TV before I publish it on YouTube. They'll be like, oh, this part's so boring right here. Okay, we'll cut that part out. When you get more advanced, you can go into Google Analytics and you can actually see in the analytics where people are dropping off. And that is something that you should learn about more. We could spend a whole session on that, but there's lots of really good information in YouTube Analytics where the dips are, where people are really engaged. You have to go back and look at all that because then you can see it's been really eye-opening for me. Like, when I start rambling about this, they're dropping off. I got to cut that and move to something else. So engagement is important. And then click-through rate is the next important one. And click-through rate is going to be what's in your thumbnail and what's in your title. And if you're starting out new, go look at Rod and Adam's channel. Whenever Adam posts a video, I could have 100 thumbnails on my screen. I know Adam's video because of his branding and because of his thumbnail. That's something I screwed up majorly. Every one of my, I'm getting a little more concise now, but most of my thumbnails are all over the board. You'll see me in the stupid pink shirt a lot. That's because one of the videos I did with the pink shirt did really well. And now people are like, oh, there's the pink shirt guy. I kind of put myself into a corner that way. I wish I would have done a nice, consistent branding with the thumbnail. And when I'm saying branding, it doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Let me just show you guys this real quick. I'm going to just share my screen. This is, I mentioned Dr. Barry. So this is Dr. Barry. You know a Dr. Barry video when you see it. Oh, here it is right here. Almost every one of his videos, it's him like this with his finger pointing up. People might look at that and be like, oh, is he just lazy? He's just using that same picture. No, that is excellent branding. You know a Dr. Barry video the second you see it. And if you're just scrolling through and you're on your homepage and you got 20 videos on there, you see this little thumb up, it's instant. And you're going to go click on it. And you're more likely to click on it. So getting that branding is important. A couple of other just real quick tips on thumbnails. I've done so much stuff with thumbnails over the years. It's really important, especially if you're doing a carnivore video and it's about you, it's about yourself. Have you and yourself in the thumbnail. Have your face, preferably with some emotion on it. They've done all sorts of studies on this in terms of click-through rate. And that's why if you look at, let me put up one of these real quick because this is maybe even a better example. Share my screen one more time here. This is, it gets borderline annoying, cringy, as my daughters would say, but Mr. Beast, every video he has his mouth open with his teeth showing. You see this? It's insane, right? Sadly, though, it works. It works. People see that. Part of it's branding, of course, because he's Mr. Beast. But part of it is, regardless of if you're Mr. Beast or not, they've done lots of studies on this. When you show a face, people make a human connection with that. They're far more likely to click a thumbnail. So if I did my greenhouse video, if I just did a picture of the greenhouse, click-through rate is going to be really low. If I do a picture of the greenhouse and I'm standing next to it, it's going to be higher. If I'm standing next to it with a big dumb look on my face like Mr. Beast, hands up in the air, they're probably going to click on it even more than that. So showing emotion, showing yourself in the thumbnail is huge. And then the other big tip is you're going to design your thumbnail probably on your computer screen, or maybe like me, I've been doing a lot of them on my phone. You have to look at the thumbnail when it's a thumbnail, when it's tiny. People make this mistake all the time. You're looking at it when it's huge and it looks really cool. Well, then when you see it on the screen next to 20 other thumbnails and it's in the YouTube, it's in the YouTube thumbnail size and it's tiny, you might not even be able to make out what's in there. So I always like to preview. I will shrink down all my thumbnails before I'm done with them. So titles and thumbnails, that's something I spend way more time on now on YouTube than I did before. And honestly, if I would have done it before, it would have helped me immensely. That and engagement. Engagement and click-through rate are two of the biggest things I would say looking out for. One other tip I had was having a strong hook. I do this in almost all my videos now. So for example, I did a 40-minute video. I published it I think it was today. I'm losing track of time now. With my neighbors, the beef farmers. That was one of the more fun videos I've done out of 600 videos. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. But I had a lot of fun with that. But I do the whole video. I'll edit the whole video. And while I'm editing, depending on your software, you can put little markers or you can cut out the footage. Well, I go through and I mark different segments when something really stands out that's cool. And then when I'm done editing, I take little snippets of those and I put them in the front. That is your hook. You have to hook the people in the first couple seconds. It's kind of twofold. Sometimes when you're on YouTube, you'll see a little preview of the video starting before. That's a little bit of it, but it's people's attention span nowadays. There's none. They have none. They have no attention span with TikTok and YouTube Shorts. That's why YouTube is pushing shorts so hard, because everyone is moving over to short videos. We'll talk about that more with Rod in a little bit. But my point is, people have no attention span. You can't have a lull, and you have to hook them in early. So I like to tell them, Mr. Beast does this really well too. Go watch some Mr. Beast videos. He is a master at the hook. He will tell you, hey, this is what the video is about. This is what you're getting into, and this is why you want to watch it. And in those first couple seconds, you're like, well, I'm kind of committed now. I'm kind of hooked. So I can do a little bit better. It's something I have to work on a little bit more. I'm moving more towards it, but getting the most interesting parts of your video edited, putting them at the front is a great way to start with sort of a hook. I usually put some text over it. In today's episode of Homestead How, this, and this. And then I go right into my intro, which has some branding, which I might get rid of that. I probably shouldn't have been doing that the whole time, but that's kind of another story. So, yeah. So having a good hook, engagement, and click-through rate is very important. After that, once you get going, engaging with your audience is huge. So you don't want to just be out there pushing out a video and then going to bed and you don't ever do anything else on YouTube. It's a community. There's other people on YouTube that share your same passions. If that's carnivore, there definitely are other people out there. And just look around at the group. I do videos with other people all the time. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to have to start saying no pretty soon, just because I have to focus on the Carnivore Diet Documentary. The reason I've been doing so many collaborations with other people is to get more stories that I can put in there. I would never have had like Shane and Amy, who are going to be in the documentary, if I didn't interview them on YouTube first. But I haven't said no to anyone that's asked me to go on my channel. Not one person. So I probably shouldn't have said that now, because I'm going to get a bunch of requests. But if I can fit you in and you got a good, inspiring story, I will try to do that. But I know Adam and Rod and everyone on our Carnivore Documentary team, they're interviewing, they're collaborating with people, and it's just fun. It's a lot of fun. And so I go on Adam's channel. Adam has his own unique audience. Some of those people are going to then come over to my audience, and some of my audience is going to go over to Adam. It's a win-win, and then the whole community grows. So collaborating and being a part of the community, commenting on other people's videos, and if you're like me, just watching YouTube nonstop. My family is. I was joking around with Bill the other day because he got me this knife, and I can't stop the knife flicking. This or watching YouTube videos about carnivore nonstop is driving them nuts. But I really enjoy the content, and I'm always learning more and more. So, last thing I'm going to say. Oh, two more things real quick, and then we'll jump over, and we can go back and forth or whatever, but I'm taking too much time now. Consistency is key. Adam knows this too. Rod knows this too. If I could start out, I'm pretty consistent. Every Thursday at 4 for 5 years now, I do a homesteading video. People know Kerry's doing that homesteading video Thursday at 4. Every Tuesday now, I've been doing a carnivore video. So people kind of come to expect it. So if you can get into a schedule like that, and you can do something fun with it, like Carnivore Tuesday or something, and then people will remember it. And then they're going to come back and they're going to subscribe, and they're going to want to see that new content. They're going to expect it. Last thing I want to mention, I touched on analytics a little bit. That's a little bit more advanced, but start digging into your analytics. Watch some YouTube videos, like how to get the best out of my YouTube analytics. There's so much great info in there. And then SEO optimization. So a lot of people don't know this, but that's actually my background and my main gig and my main job for 20 years now. I work for an SEO company. SEO stands for search engine optimization. Some people call it digital marketing. I did it more so on the website side. So it's basically someone comes to me with their website. They want to rank tops in Google. They want to get all the traffic for their keywords. How do you do that? Well, you have to use the right keywords in the right places. You have to use them prominently. There's different areas you can optimize. Like on a website, you can optimize the title tag, meta description, heading tags. On YouTube, you can do a lot of that as well. I'm going to show you guys one last thing real quick, and then we'll switch it over to one of these other guys. Let me see here. Sorry, just 1 second. Oh, here we go. I'm going to share this. I don't know, maybe Rod and Adam are using this too. this is a tool. It's free, or you can get the paid version. And I use this to help with SEO and keywords. And if you're just starting, don't feel like you got to do all of this. This is just like, if you got the other things covered, then do this. This isn't a barrier to entry. You just start posting and do your best. But obviously, you want to create videos around keywords that people are searching for. And in terms of carnivore style, almost every one of my videos has the word carnivore in it. My name is Homestead How. I kind of wish it had carnivore in it now, but I started out as a homesteader. Adam's killing it because he's got carnivore in his name. If you're only, it's a big decision what you name your channel, of course. If you think you're only going to do carnivore forever, then put carnivore in it because I think it's likely going to help you. But other than the name of your channel, your videos should have carnivore in it. So if you're doing a video on carnivore, of course, but you can look and you can start searching and you can use some tools. So this tool here, you can see on the right, this is called TubeBuddy, B-U-D-D-Y. And it's a Chrome extension. It's a free tool. There's a paid version. So you can see right here, I put in Mr. Beast, and now it's telling me what is the search volume for Mr. Beast. Well, of course, it's incredible, really high. And then it shows you the competition. And then this part here is really cool. It shows you, is this a good opportunity or not for a keyword? Because some keywords, it's just saturated. There's already 10,000 videos about that keyword. Others aren't. This one, interestingly, says very good, which is kind of weird. You might have to dig into that one a little bit more. But then it gives you some related searches and some other keywords to consider. And once you do YouTube for a while, there's actually a tab in analytics called research, and that will show you more customized results based on your own audience. So I went in there the other day and it said one of the top trending terms was best carnivore meals. And actually shortly after that, Adam and I did a live stream on best carnivore meals with the term precisely best carnivore meals in the title. That was all just from keyword research. So again, you don't have to, if this is too daunting to start, this is like kind of a next level thing you can do, but try to focus and do some research. What's your video going to be about? Type those keywords into YouTube. What is the competition doing? What are some keywords that people might be searching for to find your video? And you want to include that in the title. You want to include that in the description. There's also a keyword section. You can include it in those keyword tags as well. So I think we'll probably jump back and forth a little bit there, but those were some of my sections just getting started on YouTube. I know there's a lot more and I probably missed a couple things, so please leave a comment in the sidebar. We don't want to make this 4 hours long. So maybe I'll hand this off to Rod now. I think, Rod, you were going to touch on some things like thumbnails and YouTube shorts.
Yeah, thanks, Kerry. So I think I'll start with the thumbnails, and I'll do a tutorial in Canva on the assumption that it's not something that you've ever done before. So I'm just going to keep it fairly basic. So I'm going to share I think you need to add my screen to the stream.
There we go.
Okay, here we go. So we'll flick to this one. All right, so this is Canva. So Canva obviously is available on your phone, and it's also on desktop, and this is how I do all of my thumbnails in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you through how we created this thumbnail, which is for the live stream that we're in at the moment, and I'll start from scratch. So I'll start a new one. So the first thing is, when you do a YouTube thumbnail, is that you've got to make sure that the size is 1920 by 1080. So if you just go to File and you create new design, then you can choose a custom size, and then you can put the size in there manually. If you've used it before, you can click Recent. So I've already done that. I've got this size here already. And there's a lot to be said for modeling. So a lot of the time, I'm going to, especially for this particular delivery, I modeled on one of Kerry's previous thumbnails. So I'm going to share a different tab. So you can see this here, and I wanted to get that thumbnail out of there. So you can actually grab any thumbnail. If you get I'm just grabbing the ID of the video up here, and then I'm going to switch tabs in a second, and I've got already this set up. So there's this preloaded thumbnail here. So basically you can use this URL, you just substitute in the ID of the video, and then you can get the full thumbnail. So and in Canva, you can then drag and drop. So if you want to grab any image from anywhere else, you can just drag it straight off over to Canva, and I'm just going to share that tab as well. And you can see how it just drops that video straight on. So you can also load things from underneath from off your computer as well. So that's how I got that image, and then Adam supplied me with this image here. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to cut out the two of them. So that's the first step for the thumbnail creation. So what I do is you can drag in the edges of the image just so I know what I'm working with. And then I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Can everyone see that okay? And then I'm going to edit that image. So we click on edit image, and then I'm going to use the background remover to remove the background. So I just want Kerry's person only.
Pink shirt again. Always.
So the background remover does a pretty good job. There is another, if you just Google search background remover, there are other tools, but the one that's in Canva I find is pretty consistently good. And you can see it's taken out all the background. It's just kept the picture of Kerry there. Now, Adam already had the background taken out on his, but he's a little yellow. So you can do lots of other things with the image editing, and you can adjust different levels. So I wanted to change the tint, so you can see as we get green, and we're getting a little closer there, maybe a little around there. That seems a little more skin color. Add a little bit of brightness, and just to get rid of that green, and so I can get there. That was about what I did there. All right, so now I've got those two images that I wanted to work with. So I'm going to start from my clean slate. I'm going to just make this bigger. And so the first thing that we want to add in is the background. So I couldn't find the exact background that Kerry had, but I got a pretty good one. So let's just go with you can search for black. Now Canva's got two versions, Pro and the not Pro one. There's a whole heap of features that is still, you don't have to have the Pro one. There's a bunch of features that are still available. Let's just try black gradient, because I like gradients.
That's one thing that's really amazing too. I just wanted to add, almost the whole tool free. It's like there's so many free resources out there, but I mean, I used to have to buy like Photoshop to do a lot of this stuff, and then you have to learn Photoshop. So this is pretty much free for most of the things you can do, and just web-based. You don't even have to download anything. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right. So let's grab one of these backgrounds, say this one here. Now, once you drop the background in, I like to go white to black at the top, because we're going to use white lettering. So because of that, we want more contrast. So first thing I'm going to do is rotate that round. So we just grab that tool and rotate it around to 180. If I can get it. There we go. And I also could have done a flip. So that would have been actually easier. So you can go like that, or you can flip vertical to switch top to bottom. And then we right click on it, and then we're just going to replace the background. So that's our background sorted. And you can copy and paste from any other Canva drawing, even if it's on a different tab in your browser. So next thing I'm going to do is copy those two things over. I just press Control-C on my keyboard, or Apple C if you've got a Mac, and then pasted that over. So I'm now going to make these a lot bigger. I'll put Kerry over here. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so I can work with it. So I'm going to do this pretty fast. I'm not trying to make it perfect. It's really just to illustrate how the tools work. We'll stick Adam in the middle, and I'm going to show you, there's a couple of things. So you'll probably notice from here, see there's this little glow around each of us, which is kind of cool. Some people like that. I do. So I'll show you how you can do the glow. So the first thing is, if you make any adjustments to the image, like I've made some slight adjustments to Adam here just to make him not quite so green. And in fact, the tint that's a little better. And down the bottom here, there's a filter. See this filter code. So you can copy the filter code, and you can then paste that to other images if you want to apply the filter code. But the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to use the glow tool on his image. And once you do that, it gets rid of whatever changes you've made. So that will allow me to paste it back in. So I'm going to change the glowy bit to white instead of black. So you see now he's got the glow, but now he's gone back to being pretty green. So I just go back and adjust.
No.
And you see I just pasted that filter code back in. So now it's gone back to the way that it was before. So I'll do the same with Kerry. I didn't make any adjustments to his image, so I'm going to add a bit of glow to him as well. So once you've added the glow, the extra addition options on the tool become available, and then I'm just changing the color. I could add the amount. I could make it a bigger, much bigger glow. I think the default one is pretty good. And you can also make the glow so it's like not as easily seen by adjusting the transparency. And you can add more blur or you can have less blur. So let's apply that. So what we've got next is I'm just going to add in some of the graphics. So I'm not going to build the whole thumbnail. I just wanted to illustrate to you how the tool actually works. So I've got this live stream graphic here. So if we go to elements and then we just type in live stream, we can see all the different ones. So there's lots of these little ones are the pro ones, but you can see there are also some that aren't pro. So if I set the filter to say free only, let's see what we've got. Yeah, the pro ones are quite a bit better, aren't they? But let's just grab one of these. So a lot of graphics in Canva allow you to adjust the images. So this is an example of that. So the default, the colors is black. And if we select the graphic, we can change the color to something that's more legible. So that's how you drag in whatever graphics, and there's loads of them built into Canva. So the next part is the text. So text is really easy. So we can add a heading in, and let's type in Carnivore YouTuber. So by default, that's in lowercase, and we can adjust all the case. So instead of me having to retype that, I can just change the effects. Where are we here? I've lost that one there. So we'll change that to uppercase, and let's have a look at the font. So I like to use, there's a couple of fonts I really like on YouTube. BBass Neewer is one, and to make the font bigger, we can adjust the size there, but you can also just grab it by the bottom corner to make the font a lot larger. So let's do that there. And notice how when I drag this, see how there's this little purple line that appeared as I'm dragging? So Canva tells you when you're dead center. So that's dead center that I was just on there. And I'm going to drag that down. Now, if I hold the Alt key down or the Option key on a Mac, I can size it evenly, both sides. If I let go of the Alt key and I drag it in, it's just going to drag it towards one side. All right, so what else did we have on here? We had learn to be. So what I could do is I can copy and paste that and learn to be, and then I can just make that a lot smaller. Bring that down a little. You can use your arrow keys instead of the mouse. That's it. So this is really, I didn't want to produce a finished product because I know we've got limited time. So once you've created your thumbnail, then you'd simply share it and go download, choose what you want. Now I find a lot of the time a PNG is great, but usually it's too big for YouTube. It ends up being, the file size is too large. So I go for JPEG and then make it 100% and then choose the current page, and then you just download, and then you can save that to your computer. I might just leave it there for that, Kerry, just based on the time. I've got YouTube Shorts as well, but how about we do something with Adam and then we can come back to Shorts?
Yeah, that sounds good. I was just going to add one thing real quick. So all of the things Rod just did, there's a Canva app too you can do on mobile. I kind of mentioned that earlier. And then the other thing that I forgot to mention was when you do a YouTube video, most people just starting, YouTube will give you 3 thumbnail options. They'll pick one of those. You shouldn't do that. You should do what Rod just showed you and create one custom. So it's an option. So I kind of missed that part. But yeah, should we jump over to Adam now?
Sure. Let's
All
go.
right.
Okay, so my section I'm going to start with is lighting. And I kind of want to go over, why good lighting is important. So first and foremost, if somebody clicks on your video and it literally looks like you're a zombie and you're about to jump out of the screen and eat them because you're so dark and shifty looking, that's one of the main reasons why you want to make sure that you have good lighting. If it gives somebody subconsciously a bad feeling about something's wrong or something's not right, or maybe you could look better, they may possibly end up clicking off your video and not watching. So good lighting is important, in my opinion, to making sure that you have a good video and something that somebody wants to enjoy and stick around and watch. So that's one of the main reasons. Lighting can help set the mood. So depending on if you're in a warm tone or a cool tone or daylight temperature, you can set the tone for the image. Ambient lighting that's in your video, such as the lights I have behind me, different color lights will invoke different feelings in people. So if these lights in the background were red, that tends to invoke sort of subconsciously feelings of anger or aggressiveness, or this is going to be a kick butt video or something like that. So if you go with blues and cooler temperatures, it's more calm and peaceful and things like that. That's one of the reasons why people don't paint their room red at their house, because it's not very calming. So that's part of it. Professionalism also is important with the lighting. I know for many people it's a challenge actually making a purchase for professional lighting and things like that. So I'm going to try to give you some tips to up your lighting game and produce a much better video than what you maybe have been producing in the past. So first off, we're going to talk about natural light. So natural light is obviously light from the sun, light from a window or door opening or something like that inside your house. It's typically a softer light. It's indirect. It's not going to cause harsh shadows, so you don't have like a super dark side of your face. Now, if it's very bright and the room is dark, you could end up with a dark side of your face. So when you set up next to a window, if the lighting is lighting one side of your face but not the other, and it's very dark, and you don't have a fill light, I'll try to simulate here that with turning this fill light off. So now you can see this side of my face is very dark. So something that's cheap and inexpensive that you can do is rig up a piece of foam board, if you will, and use that as a reflector. I don't have one here with me, but I do have some paper. So you can actually see in the video where if I put the paper on this side of my face, it actually will light up this side of my face a little bit more. So can you see that? So just that little bit of white paper fills in the light on that side. So you don't have to have multi-light set up or anything like that. You can actually just use one light and use a large piece of poster board or a something of that sort in order to fill that light in on that side. So that's one of the tools that you can use. Another thing that you can use to make a better lighting is a diffuser. And in my opinion, a diffuser is next level because it eliminates harsh shadows. Right now I have a light up here that's a lantern softbox, which creates a really nice soft light. So you won't have like super dark underneath here and look more like an edgy sports type photo or an edgy type video. So that's important to make certain that you get the light as soft as you can. So if you are using artificial lighting, diffusers can be something as simple as a translucent shower curtain, a very thin white sheet. These things can act as a diffuser for the light and make the light much softer on you. You would have to adjust the light in terms of how close it is to the sheet or how far away. It's up to you to figure out how you want to rig the sheet. Obviously, don't throw the sheet over top of the light. That might end up producing results that you don't want. So that's one way that you can level up your game in terms of lighting, is diffuse that light and make it softer. Let's see, I'm going to actually share my screen, and we're going to go to some examples of share screen and share. Okay, so This right here, I'm going to have links for all of this stuff in my YouTube description on my channel. They are affiliate links. If you purchase, I get a fraction of the price, but this is just something that you can actually physically look at and see kind of, you know, what I'm talking about. So your lighting can be something as simple as this desk lamp. The reason I chose this one is because not only is it positionable, so you can adjust it to where you need it, but it's also dimmable. So if the light is too bright on your face, you can dim it. You can change the color tone of this light, which is daylight, warm light, daylight, and natural light. Depending on what look you're going for, you have that adjustability in this light. It also has a cell phone charger built into it, so that when you are recording, if you're using your cell phone, like Kerry suggested, you could have a constant power source for that cell phone. So that's one of the options. This one's $30. I'm sure there's probably other ones out there too that would fit the bill, but just kind of look and make sure that you want to try to stay in the lighting temperature range of daylight if you can. That's going to give you the cleanest image on you. And then if you want to change the ambient light colors in the background, you can change that, and I'll show some lighting examples with that as well. So that's the desk lamp. Now we'll move on to, if you want to increase or level up your game a little bit, you can use a ring light. This setup here is it has its own essentially light stand, and then it will actually have oh, I'm not sharing this one yet. Share. Okay, here it is. So this one has its own light stand, the ring light itself, and it also has a cell phone holder in the center of it. So everything all in one unit. These do tend to produce a little bit harsher light, so maybe you can back it up just a little bit. So this is an all-in-one option that if you needed it to be off of your desk, this is something that you can use to level up your lighting game. And one thing I didn't touch on, one of the main reasons that you want to have good lighting is you are essentially the product of the video. So you want to present yourself and you and your message in the best way that you possibly can. So let's move on. And this is essentially almost a semi-professional setup. So if you really wanted to go with a very soft light, continuous light source that's going to not really cause you any issues and problems, this setup here is what is going to help you out in terms of giving you a really nice light source. And this pairs well with the reflector as well. So you don't have to have a fill light, but you can additionally get more than one light to produce that fill light. Let's see. With that light, you'll have to have a stand. So the link for this is also there as well. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that if you do purchase that light, you'll have to have a stand to go with it. And I know this stuff is expensive. That's why I suggested natural light first and the desk lamp, because those are very cheap options. We'll go with ambient lighting next. So the lighting that I have behind me is very simple, very inexpensive lighting. The whole setup behind me, I think, cost something like $50 or something like that, 50, $60. And that includes the paneling back there. So this is a very inexpensive LED light strip that you can cut at whatever length that you need. It has a remote control that you can change the lighting to whatever color that you want. You can, it's flexible, so you can add it to wherever you need to add it to. It has an app that you can control the color on your app and really get that color dialed in for what you need. So that's, again, that's something else that just creates an ambience for your video, kind of switches things up a little bit. You know, you can make it a little bit more unique to you and your channel, and maybe with your branding, with your colors, like Kerry had talked about earlier with the branding. Let's see. And this is a battery-powered LED light. And if you look behind me, actually, you can see it right back here. This is a battery-powered LED light, and you can change it to whatever color that you want. And you can literally set it anywhere you want to highlight anything. So what I'm using mine for is to separate myself from the background. So I want, because this is front facing lighting, the light tapers off and it gets dark behind me. In order to separate me from the background, I put that light back there just to kind of add a little bit more depth and dimension to the image, which also goes hand in hand with photography. And that touches on a little bit on what Rod was talking about with the glow around myself and Kerry in that thumbnail. Is the glow or stroke on the outside of the person that's in that thumbnail helps to separate them from the background so they're not lost into the background. So for instance, we photograph people of all different colors and shades and things like that in my business. And if somebody's darker complected and you have a darker background, sometimes they can just vanish into the background and you don't see the form of the person or anything like that. So that's why having lighting in the background can be important if that's the kind of look that you're going for. Let's see. So in terms of, actually that's all I have for lighting right now. So if anybody has any questions for lighting, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below, put question in front of it, and we'll go ahead and answer that later. And then I'm going to hand it off to you, Kerry, or Rod now.
Sure.
So I've got one question for Adam. Just the two lamps, the really cool lamps you've got in the background there.
Right. Yeah.
You have links for those too?
I don't actually. I can put those in my description too, but those literally were like $10 or $12, I think, at Target. So
awesome.
Yeah, so really cheap. They came with the bulb and everything. So
Adam, great minds think alike, because I have that same light. I gotta put it up more. My problem is having a window behind me was really kind of dumb for lighting. But I actually you guys can't see here. I'm surrounded by wind. I'm like in a greenhouse kind of deal. Windows everywhere. Nice. That other light you showed, the Godox 60L?
Yeah.
I have that one too. I have that one too. But people are like, oh, that must be nice. Well, these are things I built up over 8 years. But that 60 light is one I brought to film Bill along with this one. And it was a great light not to take on an airplane. that was the tricky part with that one. And I didn't have the softbox either. And well, we could go on for Bill about an hour, but Bill was stuck in the corner with more windows than this. So I was just wishing when I was there that Adam was there, because I'm like, what would Adam do in this situation? There was really no good answer. There was
shower curtain.
Yeah. I was thinking of putting up like shears on the window, because those are pretty translucent, but I didn't bring them with ahead of time. So, but it ended up turning out pretty well. But awesome. Thank you, Adam. That was great.
Yep. Sure.
So I've got a couple things. One thing I wanted to share, this thing has just been a game changer. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the amount of free technology we have available, you got to use it. I really think it's helped me take my YouTube channel to the next level. My biggest goal on YouTube 8 years ago was that right there, to get to 100,000 subscribers. And it's not easy. It took 8 years. So I just wanted to mention that too. YouTube is hard. If you're just getting into it because you want to make a whole bunch of money, it's probably not a good idea. It takes a very long time. But if you stick to it and you're passionate about it, I've stuck to YouTube for years and years because I just love it. I love movies. I love videos. I love storytelling. I love putting it together. And we have so many videos from the homestead over the years that I'm so thankful to look back on, like when the girls were little and we're picking raspberries out there. And I mean, we just have every video that I never thought of that with YouTube, but it's turned into even like an extra added benefit I didn't even really consider before for that factor. But you got to use these free tools. So Rod showed us Canva, which is just amazing that it's free. Like I said, I don't know how many tutorials I've read on Photoshop, and I love Canva. I use it every single day. The other tool that I now use every single day, Adam and I were talking about this before, is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is insane. So I just want to show you guys a few things here real quick on ChatGPT. And if you're not using this, you have to use it. And Adam, you can see I've upgraded. Adam and I had a little meeting earlier. He gave me some power tips. We can cover those power tips on another episode maybe, but just in terms of YouTube, I use it for everything. I do not write a title or a description unless it goes through ChatGPT, and it probably goes through it like 20 times. And a lot of the video ideas I get are from ChatGPT. So, for example, let's just say you're starting out new. What were we were just talking about before? Carnivore.
Switch it to the GPT 3.5 real quick.
Yeah.
It may give you results that the free version doesn't have.
Gotcha. So carnivore meal ideas. So you can type anything into here. It's just crazy, but get more specific. So I want to make a YouTube video about carnivore meal ideas. That was the example I used earlier because it was highly searched for. And then you could tell it, well, what do you want? You can just say that, or you could say, give me 10 title ideas. And see how I spelled it wrong? I'm the worst typer. ChatGPT doesn't care. It's so fast, and it just you can just fumble around and get all the words wrong. It still does it. So there's 10 title ideas about carnivore meal ideas, satisfying carnivore diet recipes for every meal. So it just goes through it. I never do this though, and then I'm like, oh, I'll just take that one. No, I'll take my favorite one, and I'll be like, oh, this one right here, a week of carnivore meals, easy and tasty meals. Let's say I like that one. I'll say, give me 10 more like this. And I'll just paste that one in there. And now it's going to give me 10 more that are closer to that. Then you can go in there. Adam had some great ideas earlier. Like, this is the title of the video. Well, now what about the thumbnail? So you could go in and say, this is my title. Even before the thumbnail, let's say you don't have any idea what you're doing for the thumbnail, which, by the way, you should know your thumbnail before you do it. That was something I heard Mr. Beast say that was really eye-opening for me. He's like, we won't even do a video until we've figured out the thumbnail. We won't start filming it or do it. And in fact, he's had really good video ideas that he couldn't think of a thumbnail for. So they just scratched the idea altogether. Like, we're not going to do that video, even though it sounded like an amazing video, because we don't know what the thumbnail will be. But let's say this, your title is Carnivore Week Unleashed, delicious meals, meal ideas for every day. Now you can say, what should I do for a thumbnail? And obviously it's not gonna design a thumbnail for you, but it gives you all of this information. Here's some ideas. You could do a collage of meals. You could do a before and after. You could do an ingredient shot, an action shot. So it really, really helps. And especially with the title, and I'm just scratching the surface with what you can do with ChatGPT. You can go really nuts. Like here, let's just say this first title here. We can put this one in. I like this title. Paste it in there, and then I'm going to say, but give me more versions in the style of, I keep using Mr. Beast. I don't usually do in the style of Mr. Beast because he does totally other different videos, but just to give you an example, give me in the style of Mr. Beast. So now it's going to probably be more clickbaity. Eating only meat for a week, insane carnivore meat challenge. That pretty much sounds like a Mr. Beast video title. So it's really, if you guys haven't used ChatGPT, I encourage you to play around with it. So, okay, let's say we do that now. Let's say I pick this one. I like this one. You can actually just talk to this. It's so simple, but I need a description. So now your whole description. Now, of course, you don't want to necessarily copy and paste all of this, but you could look at it and be like, well, that's pretty darn close. And then you could go in and say, I like this, but your second sentence, change this to that. Or you could just go in, of course, and type it yourself and change it around. But it's an incredibly powerful tool. Once you have your video, like I just said, title, description. Then the other thing is, sometimes I'll do this. I'll be like, now give me, let's say, just to make it quicker, 10 keywords separated by commas. Because when you do a YouTube video, you can upload keyword tags. It's kind of, there's arguments about whether those have any value or not, but why not just add them? I like adding them too, just so I know in my brain, what am I optimizing this video for? And then these are the most important keywords. So now give me 10 keywords separated by commas. It'll do that. Well, it didn't do it by commas. I think when you do it in 4, it'll do it by commas. And then you can just copy and paste it. And if you see right here, there's this little copy icon. You click that, it's copied to your clipboard. You can take it over into YouTube and then paste it in there. The other thing this is great for is, let's just say you're a brand new YouTuber. And you're like, what the heck do I even do a video on? ask ChatGPT, what are some good video topics related? I cannot type at all. Doesn't matter. What are some good video topics related to carnivore? Carnivore Diet 101. See, and these are some really good suggestions. And some of these I know, but you forget after a while. What I eat in a day. People love those videos. So one of the other things I was going to talk about is doing YouTube for carnivore. This is the way to do it. Put it in ChatGPT. And these are some of the things that are really powerful. People love on the carnivore videos what people eat in a day. I get that question so often. It's kind of annoying a little bit because it's like steak, ribeye. I could have answered ribeye probably 30 days in a row at one point in my carnivore journey. But people like to see it. It's kind of fun videoing it too, especially if you're doing crazy stuff like smoking it, reverse searing it, or sous vide. So what I eat in a day. Another big one on carnivore. The biggest thing from me, from my perspective, that I've seen personally on my own YouTube channel and others is so simple. Carnivore update. Day 24 carnivore update. People love that content. Why? Because maybe they're close to day 24, or maybe they were at day 24. They just want some inspiration. That's one of the biggest things, is some inspiration, see that this is working for somebody else, their ups and downs, what they ate, those sort of things. If in doubt, just put a video up there, whatever day you're on carnivore, day 47, carnivore update, and get the word carnivore diet in the title. That's always very important. But try that out and see how it goes. Grocery hauls is another one, which ChatGPT mentioned here. People love those. I went to Costco. I bought a bunch of steak and eggs and bacon. Take them along for the ride. Another huge one that I want to do more on is I did a couple of these with Dr. Chafee. Carnivore diet myths. So scurvy, fiber, I'm going to clog my arteries. Touching on those specific topics and maybe how they relate to you. Maybe you had heart disease or bad cholesterol numbers and you went on carnivore. Specific to you, those myths and facts, those are really important. Diet and weight loss. So this is the last one, and then we'll jump back to Rod. One thing that I found extremely powerful on YouTube is before and after pictures. And not even, well, of course, weight is good, but the most successful video I had was my 30-day update. I think it's got like 700,000 views, and it's a picture of my face, like right now, and then before when I had some big bags under my eyes. That was the thumbnail. And I think the title was Carnivore Update Day 30. It said something else, I can't remember, but that was the gist of it. It started out as Carnivore Update Day 30, before and after picture. And I learned that early in almost every video where I can. If I'm interviewing someone and they give me before and after pictures, I'm all over putting a before and after picture in the thumbnail. I do it right in Canva. I'll put another thing with Canva I wanted to mention real quick, arrows. It sounds so stupid, but arrows. So I'll have the before picture, a little arrow. In the arrow, it'll say after, and it'll point to the after. Like, people can't tell, but those arrows do something. They draw the eye over. People are a little more intent when they see some direction that way. So before and after pictures are really great on YouTube. And I'm not just saying that like I think they're great. It's because I look in the analytics and I can see when I have a before and after picture, the click-through rate on those thumbnails are the highest of all of my carnivore videos. So those were a few things. We've got some other, I guess, more advanced things, but maybe we'll jump back to Rod, because everything we've been talking about so far has mainly been talking about regular, standard, long-form YouTube videos. But YouTube Shorts are huge. They're important. YouTube is pushing them like crazy because they're trying to compete with TikTok. Like I said earlier, people have a short attention span. YouTube Shorts are fun and easy to do. And it's an important thing, especially if you're getting started. So I'll drop on over to Rod for the YouTube Shorts part.
Thanks, Kerry. I'll just get you to share my screen again too. All right, so let's just start off with what some of you may not be familiar with what YouTube Shorts are. I'm sure you've seen them, but as far as from a creative perspective, so at the moment, according to analytics, there's about 30% of all people who find my channel find it because of YouTube Shorts. So I think that sort of gives you an idea of, if you're serious about becoming a content creator, that you can't just ignore shorts. They're a pretty essential part of the whole equation. And you don't need a lot of fancy equipment. One of the things that Adam mentioned was to do with lighting. So I'm just going to show you. So if you have a look at some of my shorts here, most of them I shoot in the kitchen. And I've got a window. Sometimes you can see this one here, there's direct sunlight, which isn't great, but now I'm going to, whenever I have that, I'm going to put I'm going to get a shower curtain. Now you've mentioned that, Adam, and use that for that situation. But later in the afternoon, the light is really good, and it's brilliant. I don't have any additional lighting, and if you have a look at some of my shorts, you can see they're really well lit, really clear, and I'm just shooting them with an iPhone 10 as well. So I want to show you just a few bits and bobs of the equipment that I use to help do the shooting. So as I mentioned, it's just an iPhone 10, so that's like a 4-year-old phone, I think, or maybe it's even 5 years old now. I'm not exactly sure. That's all I have. That's what I use to shoot all of my shorts with. And then this little device here is I think it's called a Gorilla Pod, pretty sure. It's super handy because all the legs are all flexible. So there's a mount that you can see the phone mounts to, but this I can put it in all kinds of places. So I can mount it on gym equipment. I can mount it in a tree. You can see I can hook it onto a shelf. I also hook it onto the side of my range hood. Just here, this is a different device. I'll come back to that. So I hook it onto the side of all kinds of different places. So you can get your if you're making videos about what you're cooking, then it's a good way to get it into a fixed position. I also use this one here, which is just a little mini tripod. These are super cheap. These would be no more than a couple of dollars, and you can buy them in just about any $2 shop. So you can see on the back there, it's just I reuse the mount that I use from my Gorilla Pod on this one here, and it just lets you set it up in a place that's just so it's fixed, and it's not always easy to get your phone in one spot. Now, even if you don't have any mounts, I also just sit my phone right in front of the kettle. I just lean it up against the kettle as well, and I can shoot something. So this is a magnetic mount that I've mounted on the side of the range hood. So it's got a ball on it. So that's how it looks when it's all hooked together. That's the part there. So that part there is magnetic. And then on the back of the phone, there's the other side, it's just a bit of metal. So the two connect together. And then you've got, that's on a ball there. So you can swivel it around so you can really quickly mount it. So I've used that a lot because the Gorilla Pod, it's a bit fiddly to get it how you want because the legs are all in different places, in different angles. And the only other, so that's all the sort of non-fancy equipment. And the only other really, this is at my desk, and I only show this because I use, when I'm doing the YouTube shorts, I usually do a voiceover for them. So I don't worry about the audio recording quality at all when I do the shorts, because after I edit the short and chop it up, because the shorts have got to be less than 60 seconds, then I do a final voiceover, and this is where I've lashed out on a really good microphone so that I get good quality. And then I use a program called Descript to apply studio sound, which gives you a really good sound result. But there are other free tools from Adobe as well where you can upload your audio and it'll give you back a really nice quality sound as well. So I'm just going to cover, what else did I want to do? So if I've got time, I wanted to just do a really quick demo of an editor that I use to do all my shorts, which is called VN. So you know what? I can't actually show you. So I'm just going to have to tell you instead. So VN is it's an app for your phone, and it's literally just it used to be called Vlog something. Anyway, it's VN, V for Victor, N for November, and it's an app you can put on your phone or your iPad, and it allows you. The free version lets you do up to 100 projects, and all of the tools that are in it are completely available. So it has absolutely revolutionized the way I do shorts. I had one of my colleagues show this to me, and I cannot believe how I didn't know about this before, and I didn't use it before, because I used to shoot the footage, upload it into my desktop editor, which is Descript, and then do what needed to be done. So VN lets you add in very, very quickly add cuts into your video so that you can take the sort of long rolls of video that you've done and chop it up into pieces. You can very quickly add in transitions. You can very quickly add in music. You can adjust the volume of the sound for the background music, etc. And you can quickly import images. You can quickly import voiceovers, and it lets you do up to 100 of those before you've got to get the paid version. So if there was one tool that I'd recommend as far as shorts go, it would be to learn how to use the VN editor, and you'll be able to get your shorts done so quickly. And it also lets you, after you've produced the a video, it lets you do an export directly from the app, and you can export it directly into your YouTube channel, and then you can just do the title, add in the description, and away you go. So as far as the workflow process goes, it's really sped up everything for me in that regard. That's all I've got for now, I think, Kerry.
Awesome. One other thing we wanted to talk about, everyone wants to talk about monetization strategies, how to make money off of YouTube. So if you're new to YouTube, you might not know how all that works. I guess I'll just briefly talk about a few of those things. You have to get to 1,000 subscribers in order to get monetized on YouTube. And I guess just real quickly, what does that mean? You can choose whether to monetize your videos. So on my video, I actually push a little switch, monetize or don't monetize. And that's really it. YouTube then puts the ads on the video. There's some other settings and some things you can do beyond that. But in order to get to that point where they'll allow you to monetize it, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. It's one of the hardest sort of challenges. It's a really good goal if you're a new YouTuber. You should set goals. I have a whiteboard over here. You can't see, obviously, but I think that was one of my first goals. Get to 1,000 subscribers, get 4,000 watch hours. How can you get more watch hours? That's usually the real challenge for people. Well, actually, both of them are. I think it took me maybe 2 years, a year and a half before I got to it. It took me a long time before I got to 1,000 subscribers. I was joking around with Bill the other day, giving him a hard time because he got there. He got there so quick, which is I'm honestly I'm so happy for him. But I like to pick on him a little bit. He got there so quick, but then I thought too, I'm like, well, dude, it's going to take you a long time to get that 4,000 watch hours. It didn't. And part of it was because he did a longer video. His first video, I think, was over 40 minutes. But the other part of it was engagement, like we talked about earlier. He's such a good storyteller. People were sticking around watching that full video. So he got there a lot quicker. The first videos I did on YouTube were like 5 minutes. So even if people watch the whole 5 minutes, it's going to take a long time to get to 4,000 watch hours versus if I had a 40-minute video that everybody's watching right away. Once you're monetized on YouTube, YouTube will put the ads on the video. If people watch the ads, you get a split. YouTube gets some of the money. You get some of the money. And depending on the theme of the video, it kind of depends on how much money you'll make. For example, if you went and started a YouTube channel right now, like streaming video games, I think that's one of the lowest paying things you can choose, probably because it's so saturated with teenagers and young kids trying to do those channels, but you'll get just a very little bit of money. If you did a YouTube channel that was all about like cryptocurrency or investing in real estate, you're probably going to make a lot more money. So it all kind of depends on where you go. So that's maybe I'll pass some of this off to Rod because I know he probably knows a lot more about some of this than I do. I've done mainly the YouTube ads. It's so nice because once you get monetized, it's just kind of set it and forget it. And one of the beautiful things that I love with YouTube, Adam and I were talking about this earlier, is people would argue it's not passive, but it's somewhat passive in that I have videos I did 5 years ago that I'm still making money from today. People are watching a video I did 5 years ago. I don't even remember doing the video unless I come across it. And you can still make money from it. That's one of the beautiful things with YouTube that's really a lot of fun. The other way I monetize my videos, Adam and I were talking about this earlier too. I haven't really done it too much in a while, but if you do a video on a specific topic, you can become an affiliate at Amazon. And so if you become an affiliate at Amazon and like this light we were showing earlier, I have it on a lot of my YouTube videos. I don't know if I still have it. I had it for many years. It said my gear and it would show my camera, my lighting, my lens, everything. And then it would have a link. Because some people will be like, oh, I kind of like the style you did that video and what camera did you use? So you're not being too pushy. And a lot of times people are like, I want to know anyways. So then they can click on this link, my Amazon affiliate link. It has a special tracking code for me. And then if they go buy this, I get a small percentage of that. It doesn't cost them any more money. They could just go right to Amazon and buy it. It's the same price if they go through me. So that's kind of another way to make some passive income. And then if you're doing something that's just really cool and on topic. So for Carnivore, for example, we were talking about sous vide the other day. If you bought one of those machines, Adam, and did a video on that, you could show that in the video and then be like, oh, you guys are interested in this particular machine. Amazon link is below. And, you know, something like that, that could be maybe a couple $100. I don't know how much one of those machines are, but you can get a nice commission off of that. And again, it's really pretty easy. A lot of the affiliate links that I have in my videos, I put them in there one time. You can set up like templates in YouTube. So I have this My Gear template, and every time I load a YouTube video, it's defaulted in there with all of my affiliate links, for my camera, my lens, my drone, everything I use. Just set it and forget it. Someone clicks on it, buys it, you get some money off of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The third thing that's really cool, and this is maybe when you get a little further along on YouTube, we're trying to get Bill there right now, is called the Amazon Influencer Program. And that's a little bit different. So the Amazon Influencer Program, you have to have a certain number of subscribers, and Amazon doesn't tell you exactly what that number is. My wife Jen was able to get approved on Amazon Influencer when she had around 10,000 subscribers. And Amazon will look at your YouTube channel, Facebook, TikTok. I think they look at Instagram too. And if you have a big following on one of those, they'll be like, okay, you're approved for the influencer program. Once you're approved for the influencer program, you can do short little videos. So for example, I could do like a 2-minute video on this light. I could demonstrate the light. I could say what I like about it, what I don't like about it. And I can load that to my influencer program. And now let's say Adam is shopping for another light because he broke his. If he's on Amazon and he's looking on this product page and he scrolls down to the video section, he's very likely going to see my little 2-minute video I did on this product. If Adam clicks on that video on Amazon and purchases it, I get a commission. And the Amazon Influencer Program is a great goal to set. It's amazing. It is. A lot of people know, like, we have a lot of different small businesses we run here. We have the movie theater, our dog kennel, our Airbnb rental. I do SEO stuff. I'm all over the board. The Amazon Influencer Program is our #1 most profitable business. And we've only been doing it for, I think, maybe 18 months. It's a lot of fun too. So anything that you've ever purchased on Amazon, you can do a video for. But once you get established and start going, people will start offering you stuff up. You got to be careful on what you do. But if it's something related to homesteading or carnivore or something we're really interested in, one of those things was e-bikes. We did a video on an e-bike. Now, it was a lot of work, but it was totally worth it. They sent us a $1,500 e-bike. And they're like, we want you to get drone shots. We want you to get slow motion footage of the e-bike, all this stuff. So my daughter Katie and I did all of that. And then we get to keep the e-bike. And now anytime someone purchases the e-bike on Amazon and watches our video, we get a percentage of that. So that could be like a whole other video. That's kind of you got to get a decent following on YouTube or one of the other social media sites to get there. But it's kind of a good goal to set, and it's a heck of a lot of fun too. So sorry, I'm kind of rambling now. Rod, I know you've helped out Bill with quite a few things. Is there other things or anything you want to touch on in terms of monetization?
Yeah, so I think especially when you're starting out, because it can take a while to get to 4,000 watch hours, right? I found that with my channel, like we're up to 1,630 subscribers, but I'm only at, where am I? I've only just ticked over like 1,500 or so watch hours, I think. So you don't need to wait before you can do some of these things. So sign up for the Amazon affiliate program like ASAP, straight away. There's no requirements for that. And then you can use the site link tool to then get your own affiliate links so that you can put them into your descriptions. So I think that would be something that a lot of people don't realize that they can do. But if you've started your YouTube channel, you can start with the Amazon affiliate program straight away. And it's not a huge amount of money, but it adds up. You know, it adds up over a period of time. So that'd be something I would start with. And then as you sort of build this library of links, then just put them into all your descriptions. That would be the first thing I would do. And then once you're able to get access to something like the influencers program, well, then you can really change things up to the next level. So I actually had a question for you, Kerry, which was about your Amazon videos. So are those videos actually hosted on Amazon itself, or do you have them on your channel and then people find them at Amazon that way? Yeah,
great question. They're exclusively on Amazon. So from time to time, companies will say, I want you to put it on YouTube. And I rarely do that. I do if it's on topic and it's something really cool. Like one thing I did was company sent us our Yoder smoker, which was a really nice smoker. I've had that thing for a couple of years now. They wanted a YouTube video. I tell them, I'm going to give you an honest review. If this thing's garbage, and I'm going to show you the video. If you're like, don't post it because you're saying it's garbage, I'm going to do that. But otherwise, yes, to answer your question, Amazon influencer videos, they're entirely, almost 99% of them are only on Amazon, and Amazon hosts it. So I do this video. They give you an interface when you become an influencer. I load this video to that interface on Amazon influencer program, and then I assign this product to that video, and then it takes like 24 hours Amazon will approve it. They approve most of them. Sometimes they don't for one reason or another. And sometimes Amazon's so weird. Sometimes you'll look and they just don't have videos. Or if you're on desktop versus mobile, sometimes they don't show it, but then a week later it shows. It's really kind of weird how it works, but it's kind of crazy the numbers that you can do because obviously it's Amazon and they're huge, but some of these obscure products I've done videos for, I can't believe how many things end up selling. And that's just the ones that I happen to do the video for that people clicked on, sort of thing. But yeah, you can do it for anything you own that's sold on Amazon. It's not like you have to go buy this on Amazon. My TV, for example, I think I bought it from Best Buy. It's sold on Amazon, the same brand name. I can do a video on it. And then a lot of my camera equipment I built up over the years, I've done videos on all of that. And then after a while, people will see your video on this light, and then you'll get contacted by other light companies. We're at the point now where I don't really do much. When we first started, we would reach out to companies and we would say, I want an e-bike. I'll do a video if you send me an e-bike. We do that a little bit still, but most of it now is people seeing other videos of things we've done and then coming to us and say, I saw you did an e-bike for that guy. Can you do our e-bike too, kind of thing. So it's really a lot of fun. It's kind of hard to manage because it's like a big operation here in our house. Our good friend JT is coming over in a couple of days. I'm like, you better be prepared because when he comes into my dining room, it's like a little warehouse now. Because I think we've done, I want to say over 1,000 videos for Amazon over the last year. I mean, there's days where we will just shoot all day long, video after video after video, and they're only 2-minute videos. The fun thing too is it's not like YouTube. Like you do a YouTube video, you could spend days or hours or whatever. It's just a quick 2-minute video. It's mainly because on the more expensive items, like an e-bike, for example, someone's going to spend $1,500 on an e-bike. They want to look at more than just a static picture of an e-bike. They want to see someone pedaling and riding it, and they want to see different angles of it. They want to see it in use. That's really all they want, and you can achieve a lot of that in just a couple minutes. Most of our videos are only 2 minutes. You go longer than that, most people don't click on it. And the last thing I'll say that's really cool with Amazon is YouTube can be competitive and hard. A lot of people know how to do YouTube and do the thumbnails and the titles. Not a lot of people are doing that stuff on Amazon. You can do custom thumbnails as an Amazon influencer. A lot of people don't do that. It's so simple. I just do it in Canva, and I have a leg up on most of the competition just by doing that simple custom thumbnail, which is kind of like a no-brainer. So it's kind of like you're able to step back in time. If you were able to do YouTube 20 years ago, it would have been less competitive, easier to do with what we know now. It's kind of that way on Amazon right now because a lot of people doing that are not necessarily YouTubers. Some of them just do TikTok or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, cool. Hey, Kerry, I'll touch a little bit on composition. I'm going to try to truncate it so that we can get to the questions.
Yeah.
Before my next live.
One thing I want to say real quick. Yep. Everyone hang out and head over to Carnivore today. After this, Adam, myself, Dr. Hampton's going to be there. The whole Keto Cookout gang is going to be there. So head on over to Adam's channel after this and subscribe.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
and subscribe to Stay Strong, Live Long too. Both of these are awesome.
Yes, sure. For sure. Okay, so let me get into composition here a little bit. So I'm going to try to get rid of the boring stuff in this demonstration and go right to my background here. I'm going to try to go solo here real quick. So I'll try to maybe add this up a little bit. So that wood back there is just a piece of 4 foot by 8 foot paneling from Menards. It was like $22 or $23 or something like that. Super cheap. These lights, Rod asked about those earlier. I think they were like $12 a piece. So now we're maybe a little under $50. These are just antique American history books that I had sitting on my bookshelf anyways. And this guy right here was a clearance item from Hobby Lobby. Thought he was cool. He's colorful. So he was like $10 or something like that. The countertop itself, it's actually just a sawed off piece of countertop from a remodel that we did in the kitchen. So it's just a wood countertop that was a shorter section that we really didn't know what to do with. So I just used that in the background to set that on. I attached the LED strip lights to the back side of that countertop. So all in all, you know, it may be like $100 or something like that. that there is in this background. So it wasn't a lot. You could probably do even cheaper if you have just a plain white wall or something like that, and use the lights to do a different color instead of maybe painting or something like that. Super easy, super cheap. You can use a window as your light source with the reflector. That's also free. So somebody had asked this question earlier, and I wanted to try to touch on this a little bit as well. Let's see, go back to our layout here, and then present, share screen. Okay, here we go. So somebody had asked about a tripod for your camera, or how you're mounting your camera. So Rod actually showed where he uses something similar to this. And this is really all you need to start. Your cell phone, some way to kind of hold it up so you're not looking, the composition of the frame is not, looking up underneath your chin. When I was heavier, I definitely wouldn't want to have that angle, with the double chins under there and whatnot. It's always better in video or a photo to take either at eye level or slightly down. So if you can elevate the camera, that will help elevate your production value and your composition in your videos. Along with that is a lavalier mic. So this is a lavalier mic that you can buy, or something similar to this. You can also purchase a wired one. So what this does is that, because of a YouTube video, 50% of it is actually the video itself. The other 50% is the audio. So if you were hard of hearing, seeing is very important. If you can't see, hearing is very important. So it's kind of 50-50. You really want to up your audio game and not just use the microphone that's in the camera itself. So if you can upgrade the microphone in any way, you're definitely a leg up, and you're on your way to making better videos. Along with that, this was shared with me just today, actually. I personally use a DSLR camera as my webcam, and that's just because I have so many cameras from my profession that I was able to use that. And I know most people can't use that, so they're going to use a cell phone. So this tool will actually allow you to blur your background, change the settings on your camera manually through software on, let's say, on a laptop. So you can connect to your phone through a laptop with a wireless connection, and you can actually change your settings. You can kind of zoom in, zoom out, change the white balance, blur the background, put a virtual background in. And when you're using your recording software, instead of using the phone as the camera itself, you're going to choose this program, which is called Camo up here. That program, you're going to choose that program as the actual camera itself. And then you can put overlays on there. You can put special effects and things like that. You'll have to look at the program, but they do have a free version. There's a paid version, I think, that's $50 a year or $100 for a lifetime. So again, this is another free tool that you can use to just use your cell phone. Let's see, what else do I got here? I believe, so in terms of composition itself, if you look at my background, it's symmetrical. So sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. It's really just a matter of personal preference in what you have in the background. Pay attention to what is in the background. That's part of your composition as well. So if you have blinky lights or something like that, it's going to be very distracting for the viewer. You can also play around with things like a microphone that's in the foreground, you as a subject, and then stuff that's in the background, and kind of mix that up and change it up to boost the visual quality of your video. So I hope that answers a couple of the questions that I've seen in there. And then I guess we'll kick it back over to Kerry, and we can answer some questions.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Adam.
Yep.
So we have some new members. This is amazing. Thank you guys so much. Just real quick, every penny we get from members goes to the Carnivore Diet Documentary. So I really appreciate it. And I am posting to there every day now, more and more insider tips. I think we've got enough members now that I'm planning on doing maybe a member-only live stream. If you chat and you leave a comment on any videos and you're a member, I always answer those ones first. So we really appreciate it. It's really helping us out with the documentary. So thank you, Susan, Mom and Pops, SRT, thank you so much. Christine, Tom, and Paulette, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
This one, maybe we'll kind of do a speed round, just keeping an eye on time. Again,
Yep.
Everyone head on over Carnivore Today after this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be on the Keto Cookout, and Dr. Hampton's going to be there, who I had on the live stream before. He was one of my favorite guests. He's a really smart guy, so I'm looking forward to talking to him some more. So can you recommend a good video editing program, user-friendly for beginners? I think we might have touched on that one already. My suggestion is use what comes on your computer. Those are usually very user-friendly to start out. iMovie on a Mac. I think PC has one too. Otherwise, DaVinci Resolve is pretty good. And if you're going really, really basic, Canva has some editing tools as well that are pretty good. I've used for their shorts in the past. Hey, here's a question, and then I got someone else that kind of answered it. How do you get subscribers? And then I'm going to answer it with this other one here. Nourishment Redacted Ellie, she's awesome. Best advice, be yourself, find your passion, and delve into it meticulously. Love that advice for sure.
Yeah.
If you're passionate and you're fired up and you're sharing your story, people are going to want to subscribe and they're going to want to hear more. Other than that, you got to just do a lot of content, do more videos, and get it out there. This was kind of a technical question. Question for anyone. Best free move to MP4 conversion software for Win 7. I don't know. Rod or Adam, do you know that one?
No.
Yeah, there's a command line tool. Actually, if you ask ChatGPT, it will tell you.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, and it'll even give you the commands if you don't mind doing stuff on the command. FFmpeg. So Foxtrot, MPEG. It's just a command line tool. It's for Mac and PC. It'll convert anything to anything, pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, ChatGPT. Also, I was telling Adam this before, you can program a website with that tool. You could say, create a PHP script to connect to the Google API, and it'll actually code it out. It's insane what you can do with that. This is Robin, Carnivore's grandma. She's awesome, and I'm having her on the live stream tomorrow. Should every video have a thumbnail? Yes, absolutely. Like I said earlier, you can pick one of the 3 custom ones. I would always do a custom thumbnail. Carnivore Scott, please write this program name into the comments. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. I think we got him covered already. I typed it in there earlier. So it was Canva. We talked about TubeBuddy, and then ChatGPT was the other one. Here's a good one. Adam, you touched on this a little bit. We should do another video, Adam, showing off gadgets and gizmos for photography stuff, because I've got so many built over the years. Amber and Dan's Carnivore Life. What is the best option for a clip-on microphone? I do a lot of cooking tutorials on my channel, and sometimes I'm too far away from my phone, and I'm a YouTuber. So Adam suggested one earlier. Check that out. This one I got to show off because I picked this one up, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I absolutely love this one. So kind of behind me, I have all of these. These are like that's the wrong one, but these were the old school corded ones. You'd have the mic go up. They're really professional. They're very good. But you'd use 2 or 3 of those, and then the receiver, and then you'd have to charge them. You just have this spaghetti noodle of wires everywhere. These ones, these are more so kind of run and gun. So let's put it up to the camera here. I'll make this a little bigger. I'll make this quick so you guys can see this, but this is what it comes in. It's in this case. And when you're done using them, that's it. They're charging. And then this box is a charging thing. So when I was filming Bill in Alaska, I would, between shoots or whatever, I'd put them back in here and it's charging. You don't have to plug it in. And then when you get back to the office or home, you can plug it in. Now, this you can clip on your shirt, which obviously doesn't look professional for a documentary. And this is also kind of a bad place to have a microphone. You're best having the microphone right here in the center of your Compassionate Carnivore shirt, like right in your chest. Yep. Like when we're filming Bill and his brother, you can hook an external mic corded up to this, and they sell like tape. So like with Bill's brother, we taped it right here under his shirt, and then this just ran down into his pocket. And then the cool thing is this just clips right on the top of the camera, and you can see the audio levels and you can hear them. And long story short, because I'm rambling, I've tested tons of different mics. I love this one. I don't have an affiliate link handy, or I would put it up there, but it's Holly Land, and they sell a couple different ones. But the fact of not having to hook up 25 different charging cables and you just plop it in here when you're done is great. And then the quality is awesome too. It sounds really, really good. So Carnivore Grandma said, oh, let's go back to the other screen here. What are you using to hold your phone? I'm doing cooking videos, so I'm trying the right holder. I think Rod covered that one. I've got that one too. What is it? The Gorilla Pod or something like that?
Yeah.
You want to get one of these, Gorilla Pod. These things are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This one has a little clip, so you can a little quick release for your camera. But yeah, you can hook these, like Rod was saying, onto anything. I had one of these with me in Alaska. You can hook it right onto the back of a 4-wheeler and everything like that. So, and these bigger ones actually work with at least a smaller size camera like this. It doesn't have to just be a phone. Let's see. Next one. Susan, $10 super chat. Thank you. Will you ever do meetups for Homestead How Carnivore Diet movie fans? I live in New Jersey near Philadelphia. Yes. I just don't know when. I want to so bad. I was thinking about doing one at the movie theater, and now I'm thinking about maybe doing one at my neighbor's house that I just did, the beef farmer. So more to come soon. I'm trying to focus on the Carnivore Diet movie and editing and filming and getting all of that in order, but I definitely want to do it. Oh, I was also strongly considering, and Adam and I were talking about this, doing one in Chicago. Jen and I went to Chicago a while ago. I had the best steak of my entire life, and I think we would have a lot bigger turnout. One last thing I wanted to mention quick too, dead cat. This is a little thing for your microphone, really important if you're outside. So for this one, they sell it. It clips on the top. For the little mics you have here, they have one that clips on them. And then if you have a big shotgun mic, they sell them that go over that. Those are really important if you're filming outside. I learned that lesson filming my neighbor because I forgot to bring the dead cat with. And then you try to fix it in the audio afterwards, and it's kind of messy. So Robin said, should we spend less time editing and more time on the thumbnails? I would say yes. When you're starting out, focus on the story. Like Bill spends almost no time editing. He's not doing custom thumbnails either, and he's still killing it. But he's gonna do that next. So, but I would spend more time on your thumbnails than you think you need to.
For sure.
Yeah. So
focus on what makes you unique, and just focus on being you, having fun with what you're doing, and bringing your message forward in the only the way that you can. But in order for people to see your video, they need to want to click on your video. So the thumbnail and the title needs to be very clickable, if you will. It doesn't need to be like clickbait, but it needs to be. It's very, very important, because if they don't click, they're never going to see any of your content.
Right. And try to pique curiosity. That's a good tactic too. If they read it like, I want to figure out more about what this is going on. That's one way to do it. Mike was asking, our good friend Mike, do you have any tips for YouTube video titles? Is there a way to affect the algorithm and reach based on some keywords? So we touched on that a little bit. I used TubeBuddy to figure out which SEO keywords to go after. One tip we just talked about too was try to pique curiosity. But once you have your title and you think, okay, this is pretty good, don't just put it in there and be done with it and hit publish. Take your title, put it into the YouTube search bar, search, see what your competition is. Look at all those results and say, okay, when I click on my result and my thumbnail, there's some tools you can use online where it'll actually mock it up for you, or you can kind of just do it yourself. But I like to look at what does the title and thumbnail look like compared to the competition. Which one am I going to click on? A lot of times you'll do that and you'll be like, oh, this third one, they really nailed it. And they thought about something I didn't even think about. And then you can adjust it from there. But what's going to ultimately bring your video to the top is going to be your engagement numbers and your click-through rate. So you want to make sure to nail those. Robin with a lot of great question here. Hey, I'm going to leave this one for Adam because you've been doing a lot of these as well. What about lives? Is it better to go live also?
In terms of long-term, at least with the analytics that I'm seeing, in terms of views and hours watched, it's definitely not as beneficial in the long run as it is a well-prepared video. So, but what it is useful for is things like this. My audience is getting exposed to Kerry and Rod's audience, and that goes all the different directions. So it's really good in that regard in terms of spreading your reach and letting people see more of what you're doing and you and who you are. Is that been your guys' experience?
Yeah, and there's also the community aspect. I mean, it's the only way that you can have people participate and, talk to each other in real time. ask questions. So yeah, I would, if you don't already do live streams, I'd say set up a weekly one, do it at the same time every week so that people know when it's on. Try not to do it at the same time as when there's another one on if you can, like the big ones like Dr. Berry or Dr. Chafee. And yeah, get started. You know, you can get a free account with StreamYard, and you're going to stumble, but just get started doing it and get good at doing live streams. I've probably done, I don't know, 30 or so. And the first few, you're a bit nerve wracking and you start worrying about whether people are going to turn up. Don't worry about it. Just do it by yourself, even if there's no one turning up. But stick to it consistently, and I think it's really worthwhile.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a lot of fun too. Yeah, and Rod mentioned StreamYard. I don't think we mentioned that earlier. That's the tool most of us use for streaming. So it's kind of the cool thing. Like you see the question here from Robin. Well, that's because of StreamYard. I can click on it in the side. It's got a really nice interface. And like Rod said, there's a free version of it as well. Dawn asks, does Amazon affiliate program have any requirement for lighting, etc.? I don't think so.
No, it's just text links. So you can just sign up. And all you're doing is you're pasting in a text link into your description or wherever you are, whether it's in Instagram or other social media. That's it. They don't have any requirements.
Yep. Maybe she was asking. Maybe she meant to say influencer. The influencer program, they don't necessarily have requirements. They have best practices. But if you have really poor lighting and production, then people are going to probably click on the other thumbnail and the other one. So you want to do a good job that way. Otherwise, they have some weird requirements with the influencer program too. There's certain things you can't say, or you can't have a shirt on with like your favorite football team. There's weird little rules like that. Sometimes they'll just randomly deny your video, and then they don't really tell you why. But Ellie, Nourishment Redacted, compliments for you, Kerry, Adam, and Rod are strong, brave gentlemen. They are authentic, real. They work extremely hard to inspire other creators, want to create content that will help others. Thank you, Ellie. You're the best.
Thanks, Ellie.
That was a trick, though. I didn't see any question in there. Thank you. Thank you very much.
She's clever.
Carnivore Mom. She's awesome. Yoga with Donna. Would it be weird for me to do carnivore videos on my yoga channel? I've always heard you should keep your channel to one niche.
I think do what you're passionate about. You said that before. Do what you're passionate about. So if you're passionate about carnivore, well, add it in. It's like I'm passionate about training in the gym, so I'd include gym videos on a channel which is mostly about carnivore. People have asked, you'll get feedback from your community as well. It's like, well, people have asked, oh, can you show us around where you live, because we're not from Australia. So I did one of those. So I don't think you necessarily have to stick to a particular niche. I think do what you're interested in, because your interest and your enthusiasm and your passion will come across, and that's what really people get engaged with.
Yeah. I used to only do homesteading videos. I was going to do one carnivore video, and now it's turned into my full-time passion. So I still do homesteading videos every Thursday, but a lot of those have a little slant towards carnivore as well. But people are like, why don't you just do a whole other channel? I'm not going to ever do another channel. 8 years on this one. I'm going to just keep sticking to it. So yeah, I totally agree with Rod. You're passionate about it. Do a video on it for sure. You could do a little mix too, like yoga, fitness, health, and nutrition together, sort of thing. Some synergy there. Amber and Dan's Carnivore Life. What is your advice on doing a live? I asked Bill if he would like to, since neither of us have never done one. Bill's done a live with me before. He's really nervous and hesitant to do lives. I think he's opening up a little bit more on some of those. He did one with the 10-hour live stream. He's a little bit more comfortable doing with more people. But I think Rod had some good advice on that before. Just jump in and do it. The first lives I ever did, I'm doing a lot of them on carnivore, but I was doing them when I was doing the homesteading channel. I'd sometimes get like 7 or 8 people on there. So it's good practice. It's kind of fun. I'd say just jump in and go for it. And try StreamYard. It's free. It's kind of fun using that tool too. Low Carb Carnivore. Hey guys, thanks for this informative live. It's going to help me build my channel. How often should you make videos when you are new? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Just try to be consistent is what I would say. Once a week maybe, or once a month, whatever really fits into your schedule. I'd probably just try to be consistent. It seems like my analytics show that if I'm consistent with releasing videos, the algorithm kind of likes that. But if you get off of that a little bit and have a little bit of a lull, it takes a little bit longer for things to start ramping back up. So How about you, Rod?
Yeah, I think just something consistent, and it doesn't matter too much if you vacillate as well. Like some weeks, I like to be able to like rack up some so I can have one every day. Like I have a short and then a long one and then a short and then a long one. And then sometimes, life just gets in the way and I just can't do that sort of volume. So I'll switch to every second day. My other channel, it's like maybe once a week if I'm lucky, or it's like every 2 weeks. But yeah, try to be consistent, but sometimes don't let that stop you, I guess is what I'm saying. If you can only do once every 2 weeks, just, stick with that, do that, do something.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say the same thing. Do something. And one good way when you're new is do a bunch of shorts. Those are so easy to do. You're out at the park or something, you see something cool, pull your phone up, and it's a good way to start getting in the habit of doing more and more videos. So,
yeah, I've done a few in the car as well. Like I haven't put any on the channel yet, but I did a 2-hour drive and I recorded 4 shorter form videos. So, and you can just experiment sometimes. Sometimes the lighting's not great, the sound's not perfect, but if you've got something that you want to say that you're passionate about, I think that's what's more important.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Try not to just do one for the sake of, I got to do a video because it's Tuesday, but get fired up about something. Keep a little journal too. That's really helped me out. A lot of times early in the morning, I'll be like, oh, that's a good idea for a video. Sometimes you'll forget about those. So I'll write them down or put them in my phone. And then after a while, you'll get a couple of those ideas built up. And then when you start running low, you just take all those ideas, put them in Chat GPT. One other thing someone said about Chat GPT that's really cool is you can put in like 10 different ingredients and be like, give me 20 recipes based on these ingredients. And it'll go through all of that data and it'll figure out, you can put the measurements in and everything. It's pretty crazy.
It'll also, you can link up Instacart and you can put in all your recipes for a month and tell it, go put all this stuff in my shopping cart.
Wow.
And it'll know based on the quantities that you have of the food for that month and put the exact amount in the shopping cart for you.
It's just amazing. Wow. Robin, Carnivorous Grandma, on my live stream tomorrow. Thank you for becoming a member. Rachel Gard, do you use Zoom for interviews or something else? I think we touched on that one. I think most of us here use StreamYard. I use Zoom at first, but there's like a time limit unless you pay for it. And I really like StreamYard.
You might be referring to like pre-recorded ones, so you can use StreamYard for that. I used to use a separate application for lives versus pre-recorded interviews, and now I just use StreamYard for all of it.
Nice.
Same here.
Yep. And then we got one more new member, Lioness Hiker, became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We'll be posting more stuff to the community tab. So, wow, this is great. So everyone has to jump over after this. Well, first of all, check out Rod's channel. Go subscribe, give him some love, doing some great work over there. Stay strong, live long. And then Adam at Carnivore Today. I'm heading over to Adam's channel right after this. Everyone should head on over there. It's going to be fun. Keto Cookout. Whole group's going to be over there. Have I been on there yet? I think maybe I jumped on for a little bit one time, or is this the first time?
This is the first time.
I've watched it many times, so I'm
awesome.
waiting to get on there. So it's going to be fun. So yeah, everyone should jump over there. I posted a link in the description, but if you just go to Carnivore Today and click on the little live tab, you'll be able to see it. So I guess in closing, how do we close this out? This was a lot of fun. If anyone's interested in hearing more on any of this, or we want to delve deeper into a certain topic, I'd love to do it. I think it'd be fun too, just to do another video on kind of geeking out on different camera gadgets and gizmos and stuff, because that's kind of a dark hole I've gone down, a little hobby. Over the years, I've built up so many different things. Like, real quick, here's one other thing. I just got this. This is for the GoPro. It's magnetic and it goes around your neck. So when I was filming the other day, my neighbors, it's really nice because I used to have like a string one and it would flop around, but this one kind of conforms to you. There's so many little gadgets and gizmos out there. I just want to preface with saying these are fun, but you don't need these to do YouTube. But once you start getting into it and doing it, you'll start building up more and more stuff over time. Some of it's fun, and then some of it's a big pain when you got to travel to go film stuff. So,
hey,
yeah.
Bill. Bill's just logged in and said hi, so I'm saying hi.
Oh, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
How's it going, buddy? Don't leave home without it. You guys got to get one now. No, don't do it. I can't do that to you. Could you imagine all three of us flicking this thing open? Bill's been awesome. Yeah, I was talking to him today. So I guess in closing, Bill, you got to head on over Carnivore Today on Adam's channel. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the memberships.
Yeah.
Subscribe to stay strong, live long. Subscribe to Carnivore Today. And in just a couple minutes, we're starting up the next live stream at the Keto Cookout Carnivore Today. Anything else you guys want to shout out or channels or links or anything?
Well, thanks to you, Kerry, for making this happen, and your lots of great information from you too, Adam. I learned a lot today as well. So thanks for that.
Thanks to both of you. I hope that everybody here learned at least one thing that they can apply to their channel and help spread this message of the carnivore lifestyle, because that's really what we're here for. And we appreciate you being here. We're thankful for each and every one of you for engaging with us and making this time a lot more fun than it could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well said.
Well said.
Thank you, everyone. See you over at the Keto Cookout. Let's go.
Thanks all. See you later.
Bye.